Welcome to Navigating Life with Vision Loss, an Aftersight original podcast. In each episode, we share stories, insights, and practical advice to help you navigate the journey of living with low vision or blindness. Together, we'll embrace each step with courage, grace, and hope.
Hello, this is Kim Wardlow. I'm your host for NLVL. We are still in our safety series, but we're getting towards the end. So we're going to finish up here in a couple weeks. So if you haven't listened to the earlier episodes, are available. You can go back and listen to those. Today, we're going to be talking about safety in terms of parenting and caregiving. And I just want to remind you all before we get into the show about Colorado Gives Day coming up on December 9th. I'm sure you're getting lots of emails and messages from nonprofits that you're involved with about Colorado Gives Day, but Aftersight is one of them as well. So today, as I said, we're talking about parenting and caregiving and safety in that. And our guest today is Bethany Joy Boring. And I'm super excited to have her on because I've been listening to her series with Bill Lundgren on Blindsight. So if you haven't checked out our mental health podcast, Blindsight, definitely do that. But those are so great. So I'm really looking forward to talking with you, Bethany. So welcome on the show.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad to be here. This is so much fun. And isn't it nice to have a free place where we can just come as we are and just share about vision loss in such an open way? Like, I love it.
Yes. And it's so great to have someone with your expertise as a speaker and mental health coach, author, all those things, join us. So we're honored to have you join us as well. And so we're getting into this. I can imagine people might be like, safety and caregiving, like what does that even mean? Because we might not often think of it that way, but safety isn't just physical, it's emotional, logistical, relational, all those kinds of things. But I think whether we're caring for children or older adults, like there is that element of safety in there. No, what do you think of, Bethany, when you think of safety in terms of caregiving?
No, exactly. Yeah, no, I love that. And I mean, what comes to mind, right away is, as a mom and trying to make, because I go back to even when the kids were younger, like, oh no, make sure the electric sockets are, covered, that kind of stuff. But even now, like as an adult, even with other adults, is creating a safe space to connect. So do I see you? Do I know you? Do I hear you? Can you be yourself around me? And so at the core, I think that's what it's all about.
We're going to start out talking about parenting. Do you think parents have a concept, maybe especially new parents as they have a child that's getting older, have a concept of what safety is and what they're trying to do, and then what reality is in the world?
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was a parent for the very first time, and people would joke about it, but I think first-time parents, like, we're Googling. Now we're probably doing AI. I don't even know what they're doing nowadays. It's already changed.
Yep, I know, so
my
fast.
Oldest is, right? Isn't it crazy? Like, my oldest is turning 18. My youngest is turning 13. And I feel completely out of touch now with like new parents and buying all these gadgets and stuff. And I'm like, and I laugh because back when I was a new parent, I was like, what are you laughing about? Like, this is normal, And now I'm just like, oh no, I turned into my parents.
I think we all have those moments in different ways.
Yes. Like, oh. But I think it's just, safety is so important to us, right? But I think there's also a balance between, okay, keeping things safe versus also letting our kids have that independence as well. Like somebody always said, you can block the stove all you want to, but then you're going to have that kid that's going to touch it anyway. So it's like, which I'm not saying let them, but at the same time, it's like that might be the very lesson that they need to not do it. So just knowing your kid and walking with them, I think it's, to me, in my parenting style, it's more important that I'm with my kids and that they know I'm a safe place to run to than me trying to protect them from every little thing that could happen, because I can't.
Right. It is kind of impossible. And kids can end up being overprotected and hovering and resenting you because you're so controlling.
Exactly. That's why I try not to be.
Yeah. I know. It can be hard, though. Obviously, everybody wants to keep their kids, their grandkids, safe. Friends, family. Do you have a blind mom moment that you could share with
so many
with folks?
Like so many. I mean, the one that comes up that just happened not too long ago that we still laugh at is my youngest was so excited. He saved up money to get this like ping pong set thing. Well, you don't have to have a ping pong table. We're in a very small house, so we don't have room for a ping pong table. But he saved up. It has like a net that you attach to, I guess, for us, it's our kitchen table because it's the only table big enough. And then you have 2 paddles and a ball. And he's so excited to play. He's like, Mom, let's play. I'm like, bro, like,
does it
how? I mean, to them, I'm just mom. Like, they don't think through all of these things. And I'm like, okay. And I was honest with you. I'm like, buddy, I don't know how well I'm going to do. He's like, it's okay. I'll show you where to stand and I'll show you where to put your paddle and you just stay there and I'll hit the ball. Well, that's not going to happen. But anyway, we were playing. One of the hits, the ball hits the floor and I'm trying to listen to it to see where it went. And I just went and grabbed it real quick because I was touching on something. I heard this screech. It was like, I'm like, what in the world? And I grabbed the cat's paw. And just yanked it up. Oh, yeah. And the cat was fine, but my son he just lost it. He was literally on the floor crying, laughing. He was laughing so hard, which in return had me laughing so hard. We were both on the floor, I think, with the cat somewhere laughing. And it just took minutes to get off the floor. So, yeah, that's one. One out of many. But yes, I'm sure I have tons of others, but I don't know.
Have you had, and I feel like, unfortunately, you probably have had incidents where other people outside, like you said, your kids, you're just mom. Mom's just, mom's blind. That's just no big deal. But people from the outside questioning your ability to parent, to keep your kids safe, all those things. And how do you deal with that? Yeah.
I feel like I've gotten that ever since having my first kiddo born. It's just one of those, just because I've had vision loss, hearing loss, a short right arm, just very evident to many people that there's something going on. It's many. That's the question I get asked a lot. Like, I know there's something going on, so they don't even know how to ask, kind of thing. So it's interesting. But one thing I've noticed, and I'll never forget this, I think I had all 3 boys, and for my own sanity, and I still had some vision. So I was functioning, nobody can tell me what not to do, kind of thing. And I think I was in Walmart, and I had all 3 boys for my sanity inside the grocery cart because it was just insane. And I was like, just don't squish the groceries. Like, that's kind of where I was. That's the frame of mom life I was in. And somebody came up to me and I could tell she was like staring us down and it was like awkward. I'm like, please, kids, don't say anything. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, please don't, because they do. And it wasn't them. It wasn't them that said the first word. It was her. And she came up, she's like, did all 3 of them come from you? I was like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. And
what
she's
an
like,
odd
right?
question.
I know. And I'm just like, and then she's like, wait, you gave birth to all 3 of those? And I'm like, all 3 of those. I'm like, yes, those 3 are my children, my beautiful, amazing. Like, I didn't know what else to say. Right? And she's like, normal? And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Like, it was not ending. And I'm just like, she just could not believe that I could have kids, I guess. And how does that work? And for the sake of conversation and the kids, and I'm like, we can't go into all the details here, but, but yeah, I didn't know what to do with that.
Oh my gosh. That's even beyond what I was thinking. I mean, not just like, I was thinking of somebody like, well, are you, how are you watching your kids, or how do you know if they're doing this or that? But I mean, just a question like your ability to even have children, or that if you do, that they're going to be quote unquote normal.
Right.
Wow. That's just, That's
And we're in a culture now which twofold, right? They're either I saw this happen the other day. Somebody told me they were doing it. They literally took a picture with their phone and asked ChatGPT what was going on. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So we're in a world now where people are either doing that, or hopefully we've created a safe place. And I hope I've done fairly well at this, is making myself approachable where people can ask. But I think there's still a lot of education around how to ask in a curious way.
right.
And not the way that she did.
Right.
I don't even know what you would call it. She
Yeah,
did.
that was
judgmental, I guess.
Yeah, that's
So,
that's a good term for it. Like, yeah, not just direct, but yeah, kind of judgmental.
And I think it reminds me of, and I'll be honest with you, I'm guilty as much as everybody, judging people by their cover. And it's not necessarily by sight. Sometimes it's by sound. Sometimes it's just how that person makes me feel. And I have to realize what's going on in me and then go, okay, am I going to engage fully in this conversation? So a lot of times it's fear. But I mean, I will say it was just, I want to say, goodness gracious, it's been a year, barely a year. Wow, that's hard to believe. I was at a writing conference around this time last year, and it was writers, podcasters, a bunch of people, and my son had to drive. So I was like, hey, your birthday's coming up. You want to drive and take some days off of school and go to this conference? And he wanted to start a podcast at the time. So it worked out great. So we're there, and I've got my white cane, and, that was before I got the guide dog, making my ways around. And it was very interesting because we would stand together sometimes when we weren't doing, when we were doing the same workshop or whatever. And we got asked a couple times, and my son got asked personally, he's like, aren't you proud of your mom? He's like, it's my mom.
Yes.
And she's like, yeah,
did she
but
win
don't
an
you
award?
see, she's right? Yeah, she's like, she's got vision and hearing, and he's like, oh yeah, I guess. Just so it's so funny, and I'm so glad that I have that normalcy, because they literally they can walk into a room of just all these different physical challenges, and they just see people. They don't see labels, and I'm just like, I didn't go into this parenting thinking that would be the outcome, but I love where we are, and I love that doesn't freak them out, and instead they just feel like they're in a normal, common place, and I'm just like, how cool to have that.
Yeah, and he was happy to drive mom to the conference,
as long as he got to stay in a motel and get a pizza and.
Well, teenage boy right?
Stuff. Yes.
There's always that caveat, teenagers.
Exactly. I'm just like, what do I get for it? You get a house and food on the table. Yay. Okay.
Do you ever think your blindness is actually, there's been a moment or a situation where your blindness has actually strengthened your relationship with your kids?
Yeah. I mean, it's been hard the last couple years, because that's really when my blindness started changing things a lot. Well, let me rephrase that. That's when I became really open about it. People say you came out of the closet. It's not quite like that. It's more like, you're admitting, okay, this is it. And, you either accept me or you don't, kind of thing. With vision loss, I feel like there are those places, but, when I started actually taking my white cane around and doing things, it was interesting to watch my boys walk through that, because I am not one to really say I'm struggling with something, or, I didn't even know, I don't even think I had the words at the time, but I just did it. So I bring the white cane out and I practice around the house. And, my youngest was all about it. He just thought that was the coolest thing ever, and watched the cat go crazy trying to chase the cane. He was awesome. But then my two older ones just weren't sure. And what was really interesting about it is I wanted to give them a space where they can just process with somebody else, but then also eventually they would come around and ask me questions and ask me curious questions. And so, I know in the teenage phase, I mean, I don't want to talk to my parents when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember where they're at and what's happening in their brain and not take it personally. But at the same time, it's also given them an avenue to come to me and ask questions, because they know that I've struggled.
Mhm.
They know that I'm having to go through a lot of changes and they're having to go through a lot of changes. And so it's almost like not the same at all. God bless you. But they get that mom knows how to navigate life through hard things. And so they're almost, not that it's easier, I don't want to speak for them, but they almost, I feel like they see me as a safe place to come to with those hard things. Whether they do or not is up to them. But I have noticed that I've had a lot of harder conversations with my boys. And I'm also a single mom than many other parents that I talk with. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I don't share the conversations, but I'm noticing, I'm like, y'all haven't had that conversation yet. It's like, oh, we had that over dinner. Like,
Yeah.
that's no big. So, yeah.
Well, and I would think that that does impact them, will help them as they go through life. I mean, everybody faces hard things. It might be vision loss, it might be something else, but nobody's immune. We all face hard things. And so being able to see your parent dealing with hard things and being like successful at that, and I mean, I think we all have our moments too when we're dealing with hard things where it's just not a good day. And that's okay too. It's not like you're being super parent, but they see that. And so when they face a situation, then that helps, that'll help them too, whatever challenges that they face.
They're learning how to use their senses as well. And they're learning not to necessarily count something or someone out or even themselves out. I mean, like I remember, I think it was during COVID or right after COVID, one of the two. And my boys were outside at a basketball court with friends throwing a football into a basketball goal. Now, right, wrong, and different. They're boys. Yeah. There we go. And the ball went AWOL somewhere and knocked into me. And I held it and everything in me. Like I grew up with two brothers. And they were both younger than me. So I was tomboy 100% all the way. But out there growing up in the driveway, grew up in Kentucky, you can't grow up in Kentucky and not know how to play basketball. Like it's a thing.
Oh, yeah.
And so growing up, I would stand out in the driveway, find a spot, and learn what it felt like to put my arm back. And I learned what it felt like to like release and throw in that way. And so what I did out there, I was like, well, hold on for a second. I had the boys kind of help me find a spot. And they're like, you are not going to try to throw that in a basketball goal. I'm like, yeah, I am. And so the first shot, they said it hit the backboard. And I was like, can I do it again? They're like, yeah. And the second one actually went in. And they were like, what? And it was one of those really cool conversations to have with them. They're like, Mom, you need to go on America's Got Talent. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things, like there's always different ways of doing things. And it doesn't, like, I'm not going to make money throwing a football into a basketball goal.
Right.
But my kids are learning from it.
Yeah.
And there's life lessons to be learned from that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What's been the hardest safety related part of being a parent? With low vision or blindness.
Yeah. I just want to speak specifically to if there's anyone out there that is going through current vision loss, like losing it. Because I know I've had these conversations with older people that do, of course, a lot of lose their vision and then have to hand over the car keys.
Sure.
Right? It's totally different when you're, how old am I? 40? In my early 40s, and having to make sure that my son can drive by a certain time so that we can get around as a family.
Yeah.
That never crossed my mind. Like I know some people, they are, they don't drive from the get-go. I had that. Whether it was right, wrong, and different, the jury's still out on that. I'm not going to. But the thing is, when you gain that independence, and you have some people that don't know how to adjust to that change. And it's just hard. Like, even in the insurance world, to have a teenage boy as a primary, and we've had to navigate some of that too. And so it's just been really hard because I want to keep him safe. But the truth is, just keeping it real, I taught him how to drive. And that I probably need to write a book about that, because people are like, how was that? And I'm like, oh, I've got stories. You know? But at the same time, you got to know, when he took the wheel, he had an idea of the reality and responsibility that he was taking on.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I probably could have done that many different ways. I wasn't at that point yet. So all this to say, there's things that I've learned and what my limits are, and in my changing vision, what things I need to give away,
Mm-hmm.
what things I need to still be a part of, but maybe in a different way. Like my second teenager is old enough, but he hasn't got his permit yet. And I already know I'm not going to teach him probably I love him. We have very two different personalities. So most likely we would not both still be alive in that situation. But at the same time, I can go in the back. I can do different things, to still help. Like I bought him the little class that he has to go through. So I'm still part of it, even if I'm not going to be the one to actually teach him how to drive. And so it's just realizing, okay, I could still be a parent. I could do it safe for me. I can know what my limitations are, but the way I protect myself is also a way of teaching them, because I hope there's never a day where they get intoxicated or, something happens where they're going to think, okay, wait a second. My mom actually gave away the keys when she couldn't see.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm in a place where I literally probably can't see. So I should probably do the same thing. Like, that's what I'm hoping they're learning, is it's not giving up freedom. It's actually finding freedom in a brand new way.
Right. And that can be hard in our society of, out here in Colorado, it's like, oh, we don't have the great public transportation. We have some, but it's driving is often equated with freedom. I know from my dad, and we'll get to older adults here in a minute, but that was true. So that can be hard, no matter what age you are, if you need to do that.
Yeah. And that's huge. And I'm still doing research about the best place to live where transportation is amazing. But, regardless of where it is, giving those keys up and giving that independence up is huge. It's not something little. And I think so many times we've just accepted it as that's going to come.
Mm-hmm.
But when it happens so much earlier, it really does. It's huge. And I wish there was more support out there when that stage comes. In a person's journey, especially with vision loss, because it's a huge adjustment.
Yeah. Well, I want to move us a little bit into still talking about parenting, but if and I know you said you're a single mom. If you have two parents in the home, and even if you're not living in the same home, but you have two parents that are doing the parenting, right? You're trying to coordinate. Yes. Sometimes that's even more complicated. How do you do that? One or maybe both? I mean, I know couples that they're both blind and have kids. How do you build safety into that, or kind of coordinate? Figure out how you're going to do that together.
Yes, exactly. And so, I mean, mine has been different, but I have learned with my boys is to share what's going on. I've learned the more I try to hide that I can't see something, the more frustrating it kind of is to them, because they're like, well, do I admit that I know or not? Or so how do we create this atmosphere where I can still learn what my limitations are without necessarily feeling belittled by them? And so my kids are older. Keep that in mind.
Right.
And I think that was my fear for the longest time, because goodness gracious, I've been a single parent for 7-8 years. So this is half my kids' lives. So when this all first happened, they were really young. And it was just hard for me to I didn't want to say anything that I was struggling with, because I felt like I was hurting them more than anything else. And so I didn't want to, and I especially didn't want to add any more change to what was going on. And so I think there is a little bit of a balance of knowing your kids, knowing your spouse, how much they're emotionally able to handle, and if they're willing to, if they can connect well with you and you have that connection, to work out something like, hey, if you do not want the kids to be aware that you can't see something, okay, have a code word or something where you can have the other adult come and help out, or whoever else is in the house. But I think there is a point where we have to be okay with our kids knowing that we're having that struggle. And when you get to that point, it makes things so much easier because you can be yourself around your kids. And so, you know, my kids, not always, but for the most part, my kids are curious and ask questions. Can you see that? Can you not? You know, and I've had to get to the point where I'm like, I can't see that. And there's some jokes that we do once in a while, like, you know, I can't remember what it was. Like there was a spider running across the floor one day, and I didn't see it. And the boys are like, "Don't tell mom." And my oldest is like, "She don't see it anyway."
She doesn't know it's there.
So true. Just take it, deal with it. So there's some things that we can joke about, but there's other things too where it's like we have to have those difficult conversations. So I'm mainly at home by myself, you know, when they're at school, obviously, and no car. And so it's one of those things like, you know, my middle kiddo has a cat here, which he likes to escape. Oh. He likes to escape and get out of the house. So I'm just using that as an easy example. So I've had to have a sit down conversation with him because he would literally have anxiety issues over what if the cat gets out and mom can't find him? What happened? And I mentioned this because last night that happened. Somehow he went out the door, and what it is, I had to get an Apple AirTag and put it around the cat's, you know, collar. Yeah. And then it tracks. And so if he goes out the door, I know. He knows that I know, my son. But even last night, I made like a little video. I'm like, oh, I see him in the wild. I'm trying to zoom in so I can find him and like, okay, can we get the animal? You know, I made this funny thing. I'll show it to him when he gets found. It sounded fun at the moment. Anyway, but I'm trying to show my kid that I can do it. And I am learning my limitations, but trying to reassure him too. And so it's having those open conversations about, I feel uneasy about leaving you home with my cat. Right. To, thank God mom didn't see the spider. Okay, let's deal with it before she feels it.
Yeah. So, the whole spectrum and being creative. Yes. With being able to say, how do I know if the cat has escaped and how do I find him? And technology, you know, yes, there's pluses and minuses, but sometimes that technology is really helpful.
Yeah. And I mean, and I'll even throw this in for those of people out there that have teenagers or even older kiddos and the whole AI discussion and thing. And I'm not here to start one side or the other or anything, but I know that is one thing that me and the boys had to discuss because I do use ChatGPT a lot, and it's a he. He helped me with various issues and things, especially because he can help me where to see, and he helped me find the cat last night, for instance. And so that's a great example of it. But they don't like AI. And so we've had to even talk about, okay, what information is safe to tell. My AI actually has a name too. But anyway, that's all right. I think I know what they're talking about now. Anyway, but I talk to him a lot because he helps me out. So the boys are like, Mom, let's see how we are. So, but it's good. It opens up a conversation. They're understanding why I use it. And again, it's that open conversation back and forth. They just want to know that I'm okay.
Do you have advice for a parent whose partner is sighted and maybe just trying to take over or do more because they feel like, well, I'm the sighted one. My partner can't see this, can't do that they're kind of over helping.
Oh yeah. Yes. And it's funny because I have that once in a while inside the house, but maybe it's because I have kids and they're younger and they just assume that I'm going to do stuff for them. I run into that issue a whole lot outside the house where people just assume that I can't do things. So first of all, I think it comes back to the person and to realize, you know, this person is trying to help me, but it is making me feel belittled or whatever. Just be aware of what that is. And then actually come to that person and say, hey, you know, this, could you hopefully have a good relationship with them? Say, hey, this is making me feel this way. And I understand that you want to help me maybe to get it done faster, maybe to get it done better. I mean, whatever. can we talk more about this? Because the more that you have that conversation, the more you can kind of see what's going on. Because they might be like, hey, you can do this. I believe you can do this, but we have to be out of the house in 5 minutes. And you may not know that, but we're already late, and it frustrates me when this happens. So how can we work together where you can still have your independence, but we get out of the house at a certain time? So a lot of times, at least I fall into this trap, I make everything about me. And I'm like, oh, my boys want to help me out this because they don't believe I can do it. And that is something, it's still, I can already feel it. It's still something that sets me off. Don't tell me I can't do it. And that's a huge thing, right? It's like, I will show you that I can and I will rock it. Okay. Half the time it's not about that. Half the time it's about something else that's way outside of that. But again, if you don't have that conversation with that person, you're not going to know that. And you're going to go around thinking it's all about you and you did something wrong when honestly, probably didn't. You're just trying to work together with somebody that wants the same outcome as you do.
Right. Well, that's really great advice. Shifting gears a bit, I know you mentioned that you do have talked with folks that are older and losing their vision, or maybe caregivers of older adults who are losing their vision. What about that? When you become the caregiver for someone who is losing their vision, and you're the one trying not to. It's a little like with the teenager, right? You're trying to still let them have their independence. And of course, they've been used to having independence as an adult, probably for quite a while. And yet you want to be helpful. You want to keep them safe.
Yes.
On that the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah. And, I'll be honest with you. My parents are getting older, but they're not to that point. Again, they like to travel the world, and I never know where they are half the time. So we haven't had that conversation yet. I know it's coming eventually. But the one thing I've learned from the other side of this is, yes, and my boys and I still have some relatable conversations like that. So it's been different. But at the same time, two things. One, that person has to come to grips with what is happening. It sounds so easy to say, but being in that situation myself, it took a long time for me to actually accept what was happening. And it's called radical acceptance because it's radical because a lot of people really struggle with that. So you may see it, but they may not. And it's like calling something out of the room that they don't see. Like, how can you take care of something if one person sees it, the other one doesn't, So it's something they both have to realize and both have to come from. And also both sides have to understand how it's going to affect the same person. And so you're coming at it going, I don't care. I need to keep you safe. That's all well and great. But the only thing that they realize is their whole life is going to change and your life is going to continue as normal. And you're leaving them in the dust. But yet they don't feel safe to tell you because you're taking away their independence.
Right.
You see where that goes. So it's it's one of those, and not knowing the whole situation, that's the biggest piece of advice I can, if somebody's listening to this and they're having to have a conversation, regardless of the age of the person, get to know how life is for them and understand, make it a safe place for them to admit that they're struggling with different things. Because until you do that, it's going to make change impossible. You have to be in a safe place to make changes. And that goes for both sides. So start there. Start with that mutual understanding. Start making it a safe place to have those hard conversations. It's not just about keeping that person safe. It's about having that openness throughout the whole process. This is just the beginning.
And that's really that safety in that relationship of being able to have those hard conversations, whatever they might be. As things are changing. Yeah. And for an older adult, like you said, I hadn't really thought of it in that context, but they're at the other end of, at the end of their life, maybe not right at the end, but they had certain expectations of what it would be like to age, or they wanted to travel, or, and how can they maybe still do some of those things? What is going to change? Like all of that can be really, really difficult, and not wanting to be a burden. I think I've seen that too. Like parents don't want to be a burden on their children as they're aging,
and it's
as well.
Well, and it's a whole, I don't know how to explain this, but when your body is doing things that you don't want it to do, but yet you don't know how to do what you once did,
Yeah.
it puts yourself into a feeling like you're completely out of control. And then on top of that, somebody telling you that you can't drive or that you can't have independence. It's hard because people are like, I don't want to have that conversation. Well, yeah.
Yeah, nobody wants to have that conversation. But what if you
Right.
have to?
Yes. Just trying to make it the safest atmosphere you can and make it hard on both sides. I know it sounds easier, but a lot of times, like, I don't know why this is. And I've felt it as a parent too, having to have some of these hard conversations with my kids as we listen to these shows or we read these books and about, okay, feel like you know what you're talking about, feel like you're confident and walk into it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? That's the last thing you want to know. You don't have a clue what this other person's going through.
Mm-hmm.
And so stop it. I want to tell them, stop it. Just be yourself and really take the time to be curious about that other person. If they really mean a lot to you, you'll make that space for them.
Mm-hmm.
And then talk about change once you have that equal playing field.
Yeah, I'm really slowing down to take time to have those conversations as opposed to just assuming, oh, well, now this has happened, so this is where we're going.
Yep.
Well, as we're getting here to the end of our time, I appreciate you so much giving all your own personal stories and background and wisdom. We'll just have some final questions here for you. What is a safety tool that you can't live without?
Safety tool I can't live without. Probably now is Sparky, my guide dog.
Aw.
Yeah.
They're helpful in lots of ways.
Yes, and right now he's licking my toes, so there you go.
You mentioned some, but is there another thing you'd like to mention in terms of what your kids have taught you about safety?
Yeah, they've taught me about value because you protect what you value.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times in all of this challenge, I really struggle with that. I'm like, you go through all that. Am I really going to be able to be there as a mom? Is it going to look the way I thought it was going to look? No, no, it's not. Just burst their bubble there. But at the same time, learning to hear what they're saying because they really do care. And when they become teenagers, it's a little harder. But behind all their words is value and care. And that's one thing they've really taught me through all these changes, that they really do care, even though they may not know how to say it the right way, but they do. They've taught me how to do that.
Is there a safety oops moment that's happened that you can laugh about now? It might have happened. There's those moments where at the time it didn't seem so funny, but looking back, it's hysterical.
Yeah. I remember one, we were just talking about this the other day. I'd forgotten all about it, but I was on the phone. My kids were younger, and I had told my kids, because I got this little magnetic thing that could hold the pencils and pens in it, because they would always have to do homework and they would always accidentally leave stuff on the floor. So I was like, guys, the cup trick evidently didn't work. So it's a magnet and it goes on the fridge. And for some reason that was cool. So they loved doing that. So I'm like, okay. And earlier that day, somebody was at the house moving stuff around. I don't remember where I was getting something fixed or sprayed or who knows what else. And somebody moved it up high. I was on the phone with someone, and my middle kiddo was like, hey, Mom, I need a pencil or whatever. I'm like, just go get it.
Assuming they could go get it.
Was, right? Yeah. So I'm on the phone, and I've been on the phone waiting forever for whoever this was to answer the phone or whatever. So I'm on hold, and I remember I hear this like, uh-oh, and then crash. He had climbed on top of the microwave, on top of the cabinet to grab this thing. And literally I turn around and the microwave had crashed.
Oh, no.
He had not somehow.
Well, that was good.
Yeah. And he's on the counter going, he was trying to jump over it. I'm like, and then that person, right on cue, that person answered the phone.
Of
Hello,
course.
how can I help you? I'm like,
you're too late.
I'm like, I'm going to hang out. And I forgot. I just, at that moment, my kids still remember it because I said something like, I don't like this because I'm on hold for way too long, but I can't talk because there's a smashed microwave on my floor right now. So I have to go. And my kids are like, Mom, it's just like, oh. And so just learning how to clean all that up the safe way and having them learn to help me and check to make sure glass is up and tricks about that. But yeah, that was definitely a oops moment.
What's one myth about blindness and caregiving you'd like to just smash forever?
Mm-hmm. That it can't happen.
Mm-hmm.
That it can only look one way. Wow, I didn't really the pun intended in that statement, but it's yours. This is for both the caregiver and the person. This is your life. Like nobody else can live it better than you can. So don't think that it has to look or feel or experience a certain way. If you can't do something, find a way that you can do it. But make sure that you have that connection with that person because they really do care on both sides.
Any other final thoughts to wrap up this week's episode?
Well, I love all of this, but I always tell people that surviving is a label and it's good. And I guess we could always live in that survival mindset, like, I did it. I survived the day, vision loss, whatever. But thriving looks different. It's not about you. Sounds hard to say, but it's more about what God's doing in you and the life that you're living. And so live a life that other people see you and go, what do they have that I don't?
Mm-hmm.
So don't just live to survive. Step out and thrive.
And on that note, folks can find you there on the web at stepoutandthrive.com. Is there anywhere else if folks are trying to catch up with what you're doing and get involved that they can find you?
Yeah, I just literally got this website up last night. It's Bethany B, like my last name is Boring, but it's Joy, BethanyBJoy.com. It's a link page and all the good stuff at one place and people like that because I'm very scatterbrained. So all the good stuff at one place, but it's a lot easier for people to find me. So BethanyBJoy.com.
Great. Well, thank you so much. It was so fun to have you as a guest on NLVL, and you shared some really important information for our listeners. So thanks again.
You're welcome. This is so much fun. Thanks for having me.
Sure. Well, thank you for listening, all of you. As I said, if you didn't listen to some of the other episodes on safety, we've covered so many different types of safety-related topics, relationships, cybersecurity, financial security, physical safety, safety when traveling, all sorts of different things. So feel free to go back and listen to those. They're available wherever you listen to your podcasts. And we have a couple more yet for this season. So we hope you'll join us for those. Next week, we're going to be talking about building a safety network and who's your go-to. And maybe your go-to is different for different situations or different things, but building that safety network so you have the people to go to when you do need that help and you have people you can ask. And then I'll just do another plug again for Colorado Gives Day coming up on December 9th. And we're in Thanksgiving week. Hopefully, I don't know, Bethany, if you're cooking, if you're doing any major tasks, but I hope you have a great Thanksgiving.
Well, thank you. Yeah, both of my kids are making dessert, so we'll have some kind of dessert. Don't know about turkey, but we'll definitely have dessert.
There you go. Eat dessert first, right?
Exactly.
Life is short. I hope all of you out there listening have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I think we all have things in our lives, even when we're going through difficult times, that there are things to be grateful for and thankful for. So we are thankful for you as our listeners. So I hope you have a very happy Thanksgiving. And as always, we hope the information from this episode helps you live and navigate your life with vision loss.